Good morning, children. This is Kristen once again with Wuthering Reader. I'm coming in to review a graphic novel this time. Technically, this was a book first, and this is the graphic novel adaptation for it, and that is Speak by Laurie Halsey Anderson, and it has been adapted as a graphic novel by Emily Carroll, who is an excellent graphic novelist. I mainly picked this one up because I read Speak back in junior high, and I remember it being such a powerful and emotional book. I just couldn't remember it that well, so I thought it would be very interesting to go into this with fresh eyes and relive the story again, and then go back and then check out the original and then see how they compare. With graphic novels, it's very hard for me to not rate things 5 out of 5 stars because I love visual formats for books. You're able to get across really good emotion, especially if you have a good artist. You're able to get visuals through in ways that you wouldn't quite be able to with writing. So as just a different format, I did automatically give this a 5 out of 5 stars. 1 star for plot, 1 star for emotion, 1 star for importance, 1 star for character, and then 1 star for the artwork, of course. Normally I do 2 stars reserved for character in and of itself, but since this is a graphic novel and you aren't able to get across as many inner thoughts and inner monologues as you would normally in a book, that other one just goes to the artwork to see how well it conveys the emotions. So the plot of this one follows a girl who starts high school immediately an outcast. The summer before her freshman year, she went to a party with her friends, was raped by a senior, and called the cops, getting a lot of people in trouble. She refuses to tell anybody what had happened and why she called the cops. This book has a very heavy emphasis on guilt and grief and PTSD. Back in the time it was written, it was kind of a groundbreaker because no one had actually talked about that in a young adult book. Apparently it took a lot anyways to get it published because of the graphic content. So it was a wonder that this book even made it, and it started off a whole lot of other stories dealing with the same things that are able to open up more discussions and talk about it more. For that, it automatically gets a star because it is a very important discussion to open, which obviously adds to the other star of importance. I won't go back into that since that's an obvious fact. The emotional aspect also got a star. I was left crying by the end, especially seeing it in such a visual format. It's a very powerful story about a girl learning to find her voice and to be able to speak out against horrible things done to her, even though she has a lot of self-hatred because of it. It's about overcoming all of those mental barriers and to be able to grow from your experiences and know that you are still there. See, I'm getting emotional just talking about it because this one was just so beautiful. I think the characters were written well, a lot more realistic in a high school aspect than a lot of stories do. Of course, from this, the author does admit that she draws a lot of her own experiences from it, which is why it's so realistic. The lead in herself is very dynamic, as she has a lot of pivotal moments that she grows from and learns from. Now, the shining point of this, that of course makes it different from the original book, is the artwork, and it is all so beautiful. The illustrator has a very soft way of drawing the characters and has some very beautiful imagery that shows the emotional states of the characters, as well as having people be very expressive. But she's still not afraid to draw more intense or like gory scenery. The placements of everything is really cool, the way that the story is presented. It's not just a straight across adaptation. The illustrator was very well able to show the mindset of everything going into this. And I think the imagery is some of the best I've ever seen for just a contemporary fiction graphic novel. So with that, this got a 5 out of 5 stars. I definitely recommend it. I definitely recommend the original book as well. It's still very important. Although more books that expand the genre a little more are out now, that one was definitely a staple for its time, and it's still important to talk about. Hope you all have a good day. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any other graphic novel recommendations for me, do let me know in the comics. Do let me know in the comments. Later, taters.